No matter how big or small, behind every business are people.
This is brilliant. I really truly believe that I have some of the best clients out here on Long Island.
Lisa Mirabile makes sharing their stories her business.
Talking with the people that I work with so closely every day and how phenomenal I think they are, and then sharing them with everyone else is really special.
This is Marketing That Moves You.
Hi, I'm Lisa Mirabile with Vertigo Media Group, and this is Marketing That Moves You. Today we have a great guest. They're a long-term client of Vertigo Media Group, and I don't really consider them a client. I consider them more of a partner. We really do work together very closely on quite a bit of projects. Today I have Irwin Schneidmill. He's the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the LJM Group. Hi, Irwin. How are you today?
I'm fine, Lisa. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Yeah, and it's a Monday, and it's beautiful out, so this is a great day. We have a lot to talk about. Tell me a little bit about the LJM Group. You guys are always so interesting to me because you do so many things, and this topic is so hot. So tell me a little bit about what you do for your clients, just a brief overview, and let's get our audience informed and educated on how they can save money on their shipping.
Okay, great. Before I get into exactly what we do, I just have to make note that the term you use for our relationship is the term we use for our relationship with all our clients. We're their partner, and it's exactly how we view business. We don't want to be looked at as a vendor. We are your logistics partner. What LJM does is, in the small parcel industry, we help clients save money via auditing their weekly invoices and helping them negotiate contracts with the two main carriers, UPS and FedEx. We have an operation that's been in business for 18 years. We are one of the leaders in the industry in the country. We have clients all over the country, and we've been very successful saving our clients anywhere from 15 to 20% on their annual shipping expense when they use us to negotiate their contracts.
So is there a minimum that they need to ship in order to become or qualify as an LJM client or partner? I should say partner.
Yeah, there's a minimum, mostly because if there's no opportunity, we don't need to waste their time if we can't really deliver any important savings. Probably in the neighborhood of $500,000 a year in shipping expense would be our minimum.
Okay.
But I will tell you that if there's somebody with a good story, we just listen to good stories. We like them. And if they have a reason to show us projections why they're going to be increasing substantially, we'll take a ride with them and help them through that process. The pandemic changed everything we knew about logistics. It advanced the volume of product moving by 10 years in a 1-year span. And the problem was that the industry was not prepared for it. The planning, not criticizing the carriers, they just never planned for the volume that they were faced with due to the pandemic.
Well, I think that it really hit all of us, right, by surprise, and the planning during the pandemic, we didn't really pick that up rapidly, as opposed to maybe some other areas of business.
Well, yeah, the problem, systemically in our country that we probably have is that we don't plan far enough in advance for things that may happen. You take some foreign countries might do planning 20, 25 years out. We do planning 6, 10 months out. And we're just caught off guard with the whole increase in volume.
So if I have an e-commerce business, right, I'm in marketing. We work with a lot of clients that have e-commerce businesses. They ship over $500,000 a year. During the pandemic, we saw so many more people just, join the e-commerce world, find ways to kind of get in the game. And they were experiencing difficulty between honoring the delivery times that they promised keeping the cost of goods down to a reasonable, competitive level. And they also had some drag time in their business and not sure how to navigate those contracts and that led them to the drag time. So you have a saying, which I really think is your business motto, from contract to contact, or actually it's from contact to contract, right?
Contact to contract.
From contact to contract, which to me sounds so interesting and really outlines your business model. So could you go into what that means?
It's admittedly a nice, catchy phrase.
Right.
And what we're saying is that from when you meet us to when we get a new contract for you with your carriers, we're with you all the way. And there's different things we do as that process goes along. And it truly defines how we want to be your partner. We've met you. We might met you at a trade show, networking event, might just have cold called you, but we've met you. And now we're going to help you get to the contract, which is where the true savings and the real benefit of using LJM come into play.
Go into that a little more in depth. So you are a carrier, not a carrier, a client, one of your clients receives contracts from all different carriers. It might be UPS, might be FedEx, might be DHL, whatever. What happens? You analyze the business from start to finish. Walk me through how that works.
Yeah, well, once we meet a client and we want to see if there's an opportunity to help them with their contracts, we review their contracts with the current carriers, whoever they have, whether it be UPS, FedEx, DHL. We do a review. Review is done by our staff, which the gentlemen in charge of that have backgrounds with the carriers as senior pricing managers.
So they were former employees within some of the carriers, correct?
That's correct, and
that's a benefit. They know exactly what to look for, I imagine.
Right, and they know things about the carriers that an average client wouldn't know. The client might deal with a carrier and they're told they're getting a great price, but we have a little bit more knowledge, a little more of a database of information, things that the average client wouldn't even think about. Might be a geographical location on where your main hub would be, be a shipper. And the main hub might be underutilized or overutilized, which drives the pricing they give a customer.
Okay.
All right. The main hub may be in the middle of a renovation or doing some technology upgrades, which affects how they handle a customer. We have knowledge of things like that, which is critical. The other part about it, when a client is trying to negotiate their contract with a carrier, it is the only one they're dealing with. We deal with 30, 40 contracts a week.
Okay.
It would be very rare, and it happens on occasion, that anybody working for a client would have the requisite knowledge to get to the opportunities we see.
Sure. Of course, because you're in it every day and you know what to look for, and you can take your experience and carry that over. But you mentioned database. Does that mean that there's a software involved in helping you find these savings?
No, there's not.
Okay.
There's not a software.
It's still a human touch and still a very much hands-on relationship that you work.
Right. We do not have access into a database that gives us information on the carriers. I wish we did. But our database, when I refer to what we do, it's the experience, the years of experience. It's knowing in certain industries, certain geographical locations, certain volume levels, what we believe in our experience would be the best discount for a customer to get off of this pricing.
That's amazing. And it sounds like a very expensive service, though. How do you get paid? I don't understand how LJM actually gets paid then.
Okay. It's, in my opinion, not expensive at all. Um, LJM's model is on a gain share model. We have a negotiation with you, and we invoice you for a percentage of what we've saved you.
So there's no out-of-pocket cost to the end user, really.
No out-of-pocket cost. Just by way of example, if you're spending $5 million on shipping, and we help you negotiate a contract that saves you 20%, saves you $1 million, and that's not a pie in the sky number. That
Right.
does happen.
That just
we-
happened. That's amazing.
We then have a percentage of that that's paid to us, and we try to mirror image the contract with the carriers, which is 3 years.
Okay.
So we get our percentage for 3 years.
That's incredible. That's a huge benefit because there's no out-of-pocket cost. There's no risk involved, right?
No risk.
Is this a free service as far as an analysis
The
up front, or
analysis is no cost, no obligation. The worst that can happen if we do an analysis is that we can call you up and say, "Congratulations, you have a great contract. We can't help you,"
that's
and that's fine. And that happens. That happens 1 out of 40 times.
1 out of 40? Well, that's a pretty good track record.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you talk about your customers, do you keep your customers for a long time?
Well, yes, we our customers are, when we sign an original agreement with them, usually it's for 3 years. We have a high percentage that we renew after that, although in the absence of a tremendous increase in their volume,
Right.
there's not as much savings to be on the second round.
So we talked about your customer retention rate, but I think what's even more interesting about that is how LJM Group helps their customers retain their end users.
So there's a variety of ways that we help our customers with their customers.
Right.
We have a web portal, which is a tremendous analytical tool that each customer has access to their own data on our web portal, which allows them to do an analysis on trends with their customers, where they're shipping the most, how much it costs to ship, allows them to make decisions on how much to charge for shipping, how to get the actual cost with all the accessorials added on. So it's also we've done programs where we've helped clients save money. Give you an example. It's the best way. If they're an East Coast client,
Yeah.
and they have a large percentage of their shipments go to the West Coast, we would do an analysis for them with that data and show them how to set up a 3PL on the West Coast to save shipping, which in turn reduces what they charge their customers.
And that's client retention.
It's client retention.
That's great.
We help them with packaging designs. Many times when we're doing an analysis, it's just not pure, let's look at the contract, what they're spending. One of our experts actually will do a tour of their facility, and we'll spot things in their shipping methods that can save them money or help them with their process.
That's phenomenal. And I don't think that that's offered by many people that do what you do.
I can't say it's not offered by other people. I just say we're better at it.
That's great. I truly believe that you are better at it. So we went through, what true cost shipping is and how LJM gets our clients there. But there's always, I think a stumbling block and a lot of talk around last mile delivery and how that could be affected through contracts and what to and how to navigate through a last mile delivery.
Well, last mile delivery has been around for a few years, and it's the Shore Post and Smart Post process with FedEx and UPS, and it's cost effective, providing you are not worried about time of delivery because it's a little slower,
Okay.
and providing in our opinion, sending out product that isn't expensive.
Okay.
You're not going to send out a $10,000 Rolex watch using last mile service,
Correct.
right? You'll send out T-shirts, socks,
Right.
inexpensive items, and the last mile is a great tool.
So that's another way where you can add value and estimate cost savings through last mile delivery.
Absolutely, and we sometimes when we're analyzing a contract, that's one of the key things is we recommend that because providing the customer is okay with what I just said, the caveats, a little slow or whatever.
Sure.
It's a great tool.
So now we get into, okay, it's 2022. We have the holiday season coming up. What do you see as a trend? I know I've been reading a little bit about the industry, and there's talk about the differences between regional and local carriers getting involved. Is there? Tell me what you see as far as trends within regional and local carriers.
So holiday season coming up is everyone's bracing for
Sure.
a disaster.
Oh gosh.
The last two holiday seasons, again with the pandemic, increasing in e-commerce, have been tough. The carriers do not have the capacity to handle all of the packaging coming from customers. In 2020, they instituted quotas, and they weren't picking up more than a certain percentage of what you shipped the year before, point blank. So shipments were being delayed, forced people into some regional carriers, and in turn, the regional carriers are now over capacity. So we have the main carriers, UPS, FedEx, probably DHL, and now you have the regionals that can't handle what's going on. So I wish I had a silver bullet with the answer.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that eventually we'll revert back a little bit to people actually going shopping rather than waiting at home for things to be delivered. But if medical issues, pandemics continue, it's going to be a tough season. And there's also the shortage of personnel. There's the logistics problem with getting product in.
Right.
Everything is still backed up.
Supply chain
overseas.
issues. Yeah, sure.
You got supply chain issues. I hate to be vague about it, but we have things coming that probably will be bad that we haven't even guessed on what they might be yet.
And again, that goes back to your planning, right? So we have to get ahead of the curve and try and plan for this, and that happens on all levels, right? Whether you're a carrier, whether you're a customer, whether you're an end user, everyone's just got to start planning for this.
If just to drill down on a basic level, I would buy my holiday gifts tonight.
It's June.
Not a bad idea. And some companies are actually putting together programs to offer discounts right now to people to buy holiday gifts because they know they will not be able to get them out later.
No, and that again goes back to client retention issues, right?
Absolutely.
So that's a great piece of knowledge that you just dropped, honestly, Irwin, right? For all of our business to business and business to consumer customers out there and clients, start offering your holiday incentives now.
We're a country of last minute shoppers in general when it comes to the holidays.
Sure.
Everybody waits because everybody's waiting for the markdowns on the prices.
Yep. Black Friday, right?
You'll wait yourself right into having nothing to ship. So you don't have to worry about the markdown. It won't cost you anything.
Yeah, because you won't be getting any gifts out. That's sad. So Santa's not coming this year. Maybe. Anyway.
I understand he added a few reindeer on, but
that's not helping out either. If we sing really loud like an elf, will the sleigh take off? trying to find the true Christmas spirit. But anyway, that is very interesting. And you know, that brings up a point that everyone today is talking about, which is fuel, right? The high cost of fuel and fuel shortage. And, how is that must be a tremendous effect on your customers and partners that you have. And how do you help them navigate through some of those issues?
Well, obviously, fuel's a problem for everybody in every aspect of our lives today. And when it comes to the shipping industry and the fact that the carriers have these fuel surcharges that they adjust regularly.
Sure.
Interesting about the fuel surcharges, they came in temporarily one time and they've never left. So,
really?
Somehow carriers managed to do that. But anyway, and they adjust them up. They're a serious cost. And again, there's just, if you're free shipping to customers, now it's costing you more money to ship the product. So that's a problem.
And you can't not offer free shipping today. I mean, that's what how people are shopping most of the time, at least if you're in the B2C industry.
Business to consumer, everybody wants to have something for free.
Yep, absolutely.
Although at the end of the day,
You're paying anyway.
You're paying one way or the other.
Right.
They put it into their pricing. It's,
That's a whole other conversation, right, Irwin?
free is not necessarily free.
That's true. Absolutely.
But it's a problem. The fuel expense, we don't know where it's going to end. None of us know where it's going to end. It's not just the carriers trucks. It's the inbound trucks, inbound shipment, whether it be, ocean, air, cargo. It's just,
So often do you see that people are taking advantage of, they know that fuel is a problem and they're just gouging customers that you have with overcharges and things like that? Or what are you seeing?
No, I don't think the carriers are gouging the
Okay.
customers. I think the carriers are just big enough to say, our costs have gone up and here's what you're paying.
Okay.
It's not, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. They just increase the price.
And how do you help them work their way around that, just by finding savings? And I would think it's a matter of finding savings in other areas to offset those costs.
If the fuel keeps going up and they keep increasing those charges, we will go back and renegotiate on behalf of our client and try to save them some more money. So it's not a closed book.
Right.
And again, getting into what I said before, it's not a closed book except for if UPS or FedEx are at capacity in that area, they do not have to negotiate with you anymore.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit of an art when it gets to that.
Absolutely. And I imagine that art helps by having people in your company at the LJM Group that know what to look for, that have been working for the carriers themselves.
We have some very, very talented, knowledgeable people in this industry that work at LJM.
That's tremendous. A new industry that did develop, though, I won't say it's new, but it's more of a topic today, I guess, when we talk about what's happening on e-commerce and shipping, is the re-commerce area of business. So now some new or describe let's talk about what is re-commerce.
Re-commerce is basically it's the reselling of product that was returned from let's say you bought a product, some department store. They might not take returns anymore. You might send them straight back to a re-commerce company that then resells them.
Okay.
Great idea.
It is a great idea.
Because it centralizes the returns. There's nothing you can do about returns.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the industry and what's bought, the return percentages could be pretty substantial. They can go anywhere from 5 to 25% of a company's volume could be returned.
Wow. That's astronomical.
It's astronomical. And not to take a negative position on this, because I do have a wife and 3 daughters, but females seem to return more than males, especially in the shoes and the clothing industry.
Oh, okay.
Very high
And apparel.
percentage of returns.
hmm
Somebody's shaking their head in the audience, but it is true. It's, high percentage of returns.
It's
Um,
me. I'm shaking my head
At one time in my career, I was in the distribution business, and I know for a fact that that's just the way it works. Not a bad thing. That's just the
no,
way
it's
it
just
is.
the way it is. Exactly.
Returns have become so much of an issue that there's companies that we just actually have a new client that's in that business that called on us because they have the same thing. They get it back. They have to now ship it out.
Right.
So
And I'm sure that there are a whole bunch of regulations and issues that come into play when dealing with shipping out or e-commerce products.
yeah, I mean, there's obviously health issues and quality issues, but these companies are taking it seriously because they're getting product back at a very low price, if insignificant amount, and then they're reselling it. So it does present an opportunity for a customer to get a product that they may not have been able to buy before at a much discounted price.
It's terrific.
So it helps inbound returns. It helps, outbound to other customers, and it does not clog up the warehouse of the client, of the customer, of the company that was shipping in the first place.
So
Returns are the process of returns is very labor intensive. You have to take it in, you have to open up the box, you have to check it out.
very manual. A lot less automation in the returning process than there is in the
Right.
in the shipping process,
You have
right?
to repackage it.
Yeah, sure.
So
Check for damage.
It's become a big item, and I think it's it's like everything we got used to in our lives in the retail industry ends up the same way in e-commerce. I mean, this concept is no different than the secondhand store,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Your secondhand store is retail. This is your retail secondhand store.
Well, LJM Group is a fabulous company. You have great employees, and you do so much for your customers and your partners. But what I really love is that you also offer scholarships. I know once a year you hold a contest, and you're looking for what we call the movers and shakers. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the scholarship and why you're doing this?
The Movers and Shakers scholarship, actually, circling back to the beginning of our conversation, was recommended to us by our marketing partner, Vertigo. And it's been a great experience because we open up on our internet, ask people to send in essays on what their career path is and why we should consider them for a scholarship in the logistics industry. They're high school students. Sometimes they're past high school and they're going into a graduate program. And it's interesting. I end up reading some of them. Person in our office in charge of marketing and handling that is very talented young lady named Pam Schneidmill, happens to be my wife. She handles that, and then she filters them down, gives me some of the ones that she thinks are great. We don't discuss them. We read them separately and pick out the best one independently and see if we come up with the same person. We have a first prize, second prize, and what it is it's interesting to see some of the concepts that the young people come up with, facing all the discussion we're having today, all the problems we're having today, and how they're viewing what the future is. So, end of the day, people that age are our greatest asset. So, if we can help them a little bit, we're happy to do it.
It's true. I mean, I think that this generation is so aware of their surroundings and the trends and how they're shopping and what's happening. And logistics is seen as a great industry to enter right now, and there's so many facets of it. So I appreciate the fact that you're giving the scholarship away to these young individuals headed in their career towards logistics, and giving back a little bit to the community, which is always great. It's a great feel good, and it falls in line with all the ethics and how LJM Group runs their company and finds talent. So I thank you for doing that.
Our pleasure.
Well, thank you, Irwin Schneidmill, for coming in and speaking with me today about your fabulous company, the LJM Group, who really does help so many people stay in business and find savings and prosper, which is so important today. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Alicia. Appreciate it.